All right. So let's get started with Flipgrid. So somebody said they weren't sure what it was. And I know some of us have used it before, but Flipgrid is basically a platform that allows your students to respond to question prompts or anything that you want with short videos. They started as an independent company and then eventually Microsoft absorbed them. So they've continued to grow and just get better and better and better. And it's one of the tools a lot of people are leaning on right now for this distance education. Because text is cool to convey a message, but there's so much more that you can do during video. There's also some fun things in there that the kids like. So let's go through the process of kind of setting it up and share some of the information about how to use it. So basically, flipgrid.com, very simple. Go ahead. If you have not signed up, you'll need to do educator sign up. I already have, so I'm going to go to login. And then it does use a single sign-on. So mine didn't do it, but it might ask you to sign on with either Google or Microsoft. Actually, let me show you that just so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, it'll ask you here, Google login or Microsoft login. Make sure you're using your school account. You can go ahead and click Google login. It's important that we use our school account because there's a setting later on that we can do for student privacy that will pull this information in for us automatically. So preparing your Flipgrid experience. Make this full. Maximize. There we go. Make it full screen. And so here it is. This is kind of your admin panel. This is where you, as a teacher, set up a lot of stuff. So the way Flipgrid is organized is it organizes into grids. If we're using a comparison to like Google Classroom, think of a grid like your Google Classroom. So that's like your big overarching theme. And then in between or inside of there, we'll create topics that we'll look at. So we'll go ahead and add a new grid. So we'll hit add new grid. And then you can go ahead and name your grid. So I'm just going to call it, ELA. And then this part is important. Because we are using this with students, we want to make sure that we're kind of keeping their privacy in mind. So make sure that you choose school email. What that does, and we'll look at it in a moment, is that's going to mean that only people who have the same domain as your account get in. So only kids with Corona Charter or Romero Charter can get in to see videos, to record videos, to interact with this. The general public cannot. If you are doing this with like a group that you want to use outside of your students with the general public, you can do public and then anyone can join too. Do not do this one. We do not need to do student IDs. Please don't do that. That's actually could potentially be a big no-no to transfer that information. So just do school email, keep yourself safe. Last part down here, you have the flip code. This kind of becomes the URL for this grid. You can customize it if you want, or you can just leave it that. It's totally up to you. And so we're good to go. Let's make a grid. Let's hit next. And then this is where it's going to ask you school email. So like I said in the beginning, when you log in, make sure you use your school email because it already went ahead and pulled in my domain here. So what that means is like if my students go there, it's going to check their email and say, are you coronacharter.org? Okay, cool. You're in. If you need to add more, like if you're going to do this across campuses for whatever reason, you can add Romero Charter or any of YPICS.org, any of the other domains here as well. Just go ahead and click next. And ta-da, our grid's ready. So we're not going to share it just yet. We're actually going to go to the grid and take a look at it. So these are the details. You have some stuff here, image. Your code is right here right now. Copilot is kind of their term for a co-teacher. So if you wanted to share this with someone, you can just click add Copilot. And then you need to enter the email that they used in Flipgrid. 99.9% of the time, that's going to be their school email anyways. So you can go ahead and enter their email there and hit invite. You have some actions here. Again, add, duplicate, you can get notification. We don't use Teams, that's for Microsoft. But you can also export the information if you wanted to. And if you just want to completely get rid of it, of course, hit delete. Your fun pencil, you can go back in and do some of these things. So like if you forgot to set up a school email beforehand, you can always go back in and do that. You can set your notifications so you don't get spammed. And if you want to change the picture, they have a bunch of like ones down here that you can use that are already built in. Or I think you can upload your own too. All right, so that's setting up your grid. That's like a one-time thing that you do, kind of like in Google Classroom when you set up your classroom for the first time. The real like meat and potatoes of this is in the topics. So you see they'll give you this topic here that says say hello on Flipgrid. We're not going to do that one. We're actually going to go through the whole process of creating a topic, so you guys can see everything on there. So again, Google Classroom comparison, and I keep going to that just because I know that's what we know. Grid is classroom, a topic is an assignment. So I'm going to click add new topic, and then it's going to make me give it a title. So I'm just going to call this test. And again, you got up to a certain amount of characters. And then recording time. Recording time is how long the students can record a video for. So they just recently updated it so you can go up to 10 minutes. I don't know if you want to give your kids up to 10 minutes. Maybe if you're going to have them like record a longer presentation, you could do that. But most of the time, you're hanging around probably this 1 minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Let's be honest, 10-minute videos, even on YouTube, most of us aren't watching. Most of our kids are going to fall somewhere in this area. But if you did need to make them go longer, they could do that too. So I'm just going to leave it at 1:30. Down here, you can leave a little bit of a prompt, whatever you want. If you just want to write a little bit of text there to get them engaged with it, maybe a brief explanation. Then they have this area down here, focus. So you can see this is optional, but what focus is that you can kind of add extra media if you needed to. So you could record a short video. If you wanted to use like a YouTube video that you found and have the kids respond on the grid to something in the video, you could do that there. Images, emojis, all sorts of fun stuff that you can do here. So you can kind of look at this as like a little visual to help with your prompt. Before clicking create a topic, and if you do this, if you go ahead and click create, we can go back and change this afterwards. You'll want to go to more options, because more options is where we get a few more things for student safety. So you could do a tip if you wanted to. You can add attachments, like if you wanted to reference like a Google Doc or something, you could drop it in there. But the big ones that we're going to want to look at are right here, and that's video moderation. So right now it's turned off, which means that if I give this to one of my students, they record a video, it's immediately live on the grid, immediately. By clicking on video moderation, what that does is it kind of goes into a queue that then I have to look at and I have to approve. The reason why I say do this one with moderation is, we all got that kid who wants to be silly. It might say something inappropriate. So this kind of adds that other layer for you to be the filter between what goes live on the internet and what your students see. You can toggle this one on or off. It's your choice. This just allows the kids to reply to each other. In this setting, to help them connect, it might be a good idea to leave it on. If you find that they are abusing that and someone's being rude or inappropriate, you could always toggle it off. Status, you want to leave it active for now. Frozen becomes like a view only, so people would be able to view the videos on the grid, but they wouldn't be able to actually add any videos. And hidden kind of hides it away from everyone except for you and any co-pilots that you have. You have here your launch and freeze dates. This is when it goes live, and this is when it ends. So it defaults to never, but if you wanted to give them a certain day, like, hey, you have to have this turned in by April 23rd. Cool. Basically, it'll be active from 4/16 to April 23rd, and then after that, kids won't be able to add to it unless you come in and clear this out. And then again, there's some other things down here that you can do where kids can add filters, all sorts of stuff. I say leave it on. They're going to have fun. If you wanted to let them be able to like each other's videos, you can turn that on too. And then feedback, this is for you. Just how are you going to leave feedback? Most of the time for the basic one, should be pretty good. Any questions so far? I know I went kind of fast with some of that stuff. So if you got a question, feel free just to unmute yourself and jump on in. All right, I'll take the silences now. So after we're done with kind of all these settings, go ahead and click create topic. And ta-da, you are ready to go. From here, this is where we'll actually want to share it. And there's multiple ways to share this with your kids. You can copy the URL just by clicking there. You could get a QR code if you want them to scan it, probably not. You can get an embed code if you wanted to put it like on a Google site or something kind of embedded in there. But probably the one that we're going to use the most is this share to classroom. So I'm going to click on that one. And that's going to open up this window here. When you first start, you can only choose one classroom. There is something later on that allows you to choose multiple. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and choose my Google Classroom training course. And I'm going to get the same kind of create actions like I would in Classroom. I'm going to make this just an announcement. The kids just need to know it. I hit go. And then it's going to open up this screen here with more options. So again, this is where I can give it a little bit of a description if I wanted to explain it. Just don't drop the link up there. It might be a little confusing for the kids. And over here is where I can actually select more than one class. So if I actually want to send it to both of these, I can do that here. You can also do it if you have the kids in here where only certain kids get it. So if you want to differentiate that only this account gets it and not the other kids, you could do that as well. So you can go ahead and write, check this out. Everything in Classroom, you have the ability to schedule here, or you can just go ahead and hit post. I'm going to hit post. You'll see it doing its magic in the background. And ta-da, it's been posted to your class. That's going to probably be your easiest way to get it to your kids. And I'll show you what that looks like on Classroom now. As you'll see right here, it says check this out. There's my link. Very, very easy for the kids to find. So let's take a look now through the student lens. So I'm a kid. I go into Google Classroom. I get this link that says check this out. I can click there. All right, so this is the point in the video where my internet died out for a brief second, so you guys didn't get to see what I did. So I'm going to show you the part that was missing, and then we'll go back to the training. So I clicked on the link in Google Classroom. It went straight to my topic. As a student, I'm going to go ahead and click on log in with Google. And because I'm using the Corona Charter account, it will go ahead and bring me in there. And then I'll go into my grid. So you'll see here some of the edits that we made. If you had a prompt, it would be here. And if you included a video or something else as a jump off point, it would be there as well. And we're going to go down here to responses. So to have the students add a response, they click this giant green plus sign. And then that's going to open up the camera. They may get a little thing asking them for permissions. So it should pop up around here somewhere in your address bar. Just go ahead and have them click yes, they're ready to go. And now we'll go back to the training. And from here, kids have some options. They'll get silly with filters and stuff. They can put little emojis. So if they don't want to be on camera, they can do stuff like this. Sure, we'll choose that one because it looks like The Rock. Turn that off. They can kind of move stuff around. It's not showing my camera, but if it was, I could put this over my face, and as long as I don't move, I just look like I'm a talking emoji. So basically, they would click record, get a countdown, and then from here, they record their short little video. They can still interact with it, so if they want to draw on the screen, like if you're having to explain a mathematical concept, they can continue to add stickers. They might get a little crazy with this one. I definitely expect some of the poop emojis to be in there. I know it's what my 6-year-old would do. Text, all sorts of fun stuff down there for them. And you'll see up here in the corner, they have a countdown going to let them know how much time they have left. Since I only set it at 1:30, it's all the time they have. When they're done, they can go ahead and hit pause and either start recording again, or they can just be done. If they messed up, they hit redo, starts over. And they'll go ahead and click next now. What that's going to do, that's going to allow them to kind of preview the video to make sure that it's the one that they want to post. You'll see, as I started goofing around a little bit and adding stuff, it will show up there, around there. So if that's good, they hit confirm, hit next. It'll ask them to take a selfie. Again, they could take an actual picture of themselves. They could put an emoji, whatever they want, sort of thing. Just hit the camera real fast. Click next. And then they can go ahead and give it a display name. So I'm going to call this Ryan. Give it a title if they wanted to. Add a link. Probably not a link, but if you wanted them to explain what it is, they could do that here. And then the students hit submit video. So congratulations, they've now completed their work. And you'll see here, it says this topic is moderated. It's because we're not done with this yet. that means that I have to go back and approve it. So in my panel, I'm going to go ahead and give it a quick refresh. You'll see here that I have one response from Ryan. It's dated, and it says hidden. So hidden means that it's not going to show up in the grid. If I click on that and I turn it to the green active, it's going to show up in the grid. So since I turned it active, I'll go ahead and refresh this. Re-log in with Google. And now my video is there. So if I go back here though, too many tabs open. I go back here and I change it to hidden. You'll notice that it makes me log in again, which is really annoying. But that it goes away. So it's that moderated feature where you are kind of the content curator and you get to choose what kids go live with their videos. I highly, highly suggest it, just to avoid anyone doing anything silly or, even accidental stuff, like somebody walked around in the background and the kid didn't notice, or just any sort of thing. You just get to play kind of the moderator and see what gets posted and what doesn't. I forgot to say too, that you also, if you go here, if you wanted to get things going, log in with Google again, you could record a short video. That's one thing that I've seen some people do to kind of get it started, is the teacher will actually go in here, hit the plus sign, allow, and record a short little video saying, hey guys, this is X, Y, and Z. Here's what I want you to do. When you're done, make sure to hit submit, or whatever it is that you want. And then ultimately what you'll get is you'll get this nice grid full of all these videos. You can respond to students on there. They can respond to each other if you have that turned on. And it just becomes more of a kind of asynchronous kind of video chat, and a fun way to kind of get some of the kids out of their shell who maybe are a little nervous to talk in front of their classes. But when they have the opportunity to do a video and rewind it and redo it and make it exactly perfect, they can shock you with what they can pull out. So that's kind of the basics of Flipgrid. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you'd want to see or anything you're not sure on?
I had a quick question, Bradford.
Yes.
Is there any way for them to present, like, how for like our Google Meet, how you could present your screen? Because we were thinking about having them present like an infographic or something along those lines,
yes,
as a presentation.
They actually just added that. Where is that? Screen recording.
Okay.
Like literally probably within the past month, they added that. I'm not going to do it because I don't know what's going to record right now. And this is going to be eventually on YouTube. But yeah, they could do that through there too. So if they had a Google presentation or something, they click on the 3 dots and go to screen recording.
Okay. And then from there, then they'll be able to still edit it and add whatnot onto it if they want to.
Yeah. And then just keep in mind the same minute 30 applies here. So they won't be able to go beyond that. So if it is going to be a longer presentation in your topic details, make sure that you change your recording time to be longer.
Okay, perfect. That's like timing.
I should have pointed that out too. If you go through the initial setup for the topic and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to do something, always click on the pencil and you can go in here and you can edit the stuff. So, if you're like, I forgot to turn on video moderation, you could turn that on. Or if you're like, oh, I need to explain a little bit more, you could always go in and add a focus material too.
And then technically the students don't have to create a new account, right? They could just log in through Google?
Nope. As long as they log in using their school account. I really want to push that just because you don't want like random Gmail accounts in there. So that's why in that first step, when you set up the grid, it says here grid type and do school email. Because then literally I could share this with you guys. Could go here right now, flipgrid.com/Bradford1205. And because you have Corona Charter emails, you're automatically in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in theory, anyone in your school can answer your question if they really wanted to, which is another reason to turn on the moderated in case somebody wants to be silly. You can just catch that beforehand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No, good question. Anyone else have any questions or anything else that we're curious on? No, just not good. All right, cool. Here's what I'll do. I'll end the recording now, and then if you guys do have more questions, I'll stay on for you. So